Hey guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and today I want to review a little game called Trek to Yomi. It's a samurai game, very much based on the Kurosawa movies in terms of aesthetics. It's black and white. It looks actually quite beautiful, even if perhaps if each individual element is examined closely, it's a bit ropey in some respects, but overall it does put across a beautiful picture. Excuse me. It's available on Game Pass, which is why I'm reviewing it, because I am still skint, so yay me. I have something to review. Wonderful. And if you're looking to buy it, it's less than 17 quid on Steam, so it's not going to break the bank. It's from Devolver Digital. Now, Devolver are a studio which I don't always like what they put out, but I always find what they put out interesting. They always put out interesting stuff, and I think this is probably one of those cases. I do like samurai stuff, and you know, I've seen a lot of the old movies, Lone Wolf and Club being a particular favourite. But some of the gameplay elements in this just doesn't work for me. It's it's almost a little bit like Sifu. It's just the combat is about a billion times less fun. And possibly it's better looking because of that. It's about 6 hours long in total. Trek to Yomi sounds relatively innocuous until you realise what Yomi actually is. You think it's a village? No, it's not a village. I'm afraid not. And it's a place you don't want to go. So there you go. You can find out yourselves. So what the game is, it's set in a village as you're being raided by bandits at the start of the game in the opening act. You play Hiroyuki. I forget, I'm terrible at foreign names, I'm sorry. But yeah, so you're obviously a samurai in training. You start as a young lad, possibly about 12, somewhere around there. And the village is attacked by bandits, and your master goes out to defend them. And of course, you being the disobedient little swine that you are, don't stay put like you've been commanded and go out there with your girlfriend and fight the bandits. It is interesting that it does actually give you the agency to fight the bandits as a 12-year-old. Most of the time, games will do that. You'll get like savagely beaten, thrown off a cliff or something like that. I'm thinking like, you know, Assassin's Creed, what was it? Is it Ragnarok? I kind of want to say Ragnarok. The Viking one, the latest Assassin's Creed. Kind of did that. You're like, I'm going to hit something with this giant sword that's almost the same size as me. But no, you don't get a choice to do that. But in this you do. You kill actually a lot of people as a small child, which equal parts awesome and disturbing, I think. Once you find your master, obviously the worst happens. And he charges you to protect the village going forward. And from there you come back and you are grown up and the main game begins. The gameplay is interesting. It's a sort of mix between 2D and 3D. So you'll explore in kind of 3D. And when you go into fights, which will happen a lot, it will switch to a 2D plane where you have forward and back. It almost reminds me of some of those games where you just stay in place and have to like bop to either side in some respects. Because it does have a little bit of that to it. Like the, I can't remember. I'm terrible. Whoa. Like there was a short movie that came out and it had a game to go with it, like Street. I've got the game somewhere. Can't remember what it's called. I've got the movie too. Very cool. Actually, let me look. I'm gonna look. It is a little bit strange because I bought it on Steam. I bought a movie on Steam. Who does that? Apparently me. Fuck's sake. No games. There we go. Kung Fury. There we go. I used to have Mad Max Fury Road in about 4 different formats. And Austin High. What the hell is that? I don't know. It looks like two stone lads. Never mind. I'm getting off topic. I have a lot of videos that I was not aware I had. Okay. I've obviously been buying shit on Steam while drunk again. That happens an awful lot. Hopefully not recently though, because I can't afford it. So the combat is not my favourite. I mean, there's nothing terrible about it, but it's just slightly off. So it's something to do with the timing, I think. It's almost like there's lag, except I'm, 2 feet away from my PC or whatever. It's not hardware related. It's definitely the game itself, because I've seen other people mention it. It just doesn't seem to react as immediately as you want. You can get used to it. Obviously, it's just like a delay, so you can program your brain to get around it to a certain extent. But it doesn't make the combat as fun as it should be. It does. The combat is relatively simplistic anyway. I mean, your parry chop attack will sort most normal enemies out, no problems whatsoever. You do get other bits and pieces, like combos and range weaponry and stuff like that, to complement your arsenal, but I would say none of them really ever replace that parry chop move. At least for me. It does become more interesting with bosses. Bosses are... I wouldn't say they're hard, but you do need to pay attention to what they do in terms of finding their patterns. Because some bosses can insta-kill you in some certain situations. So finding out their pattern and even where you need to be sort of on screen is important. So they do add a bit of variety, but there aren't that many of them, and they're a few far in between, basically. So combat does get repetitive quite quickly. The game is only 6 hours long, so at least you're not slogging through like 20 hours worth of game having gotten bored of the combat. At least in my opinion, I got bored of the combat relatively quickly. I think like in partway through the second act I was like, really? There was also, because you're fighting enemies on a two-dimensional plane, there's a button to turn you around. You can't just like move the stick in the way you want to aim. You actually have to hit the button to turn around. I don't know how I feel about that. You do get a move relatively early on which will turn you and attack. So you can use that instead, which makes a little bit more sense, but it just kind of like, why not just give me that from the outset? Why actually have a dedicated button to turn me round if you're just going to give me this move which I can use instead? Okay. What? I don't know. So the way the game's structured is you'll go into a level and you'll go through it in a relatively linear fashion, and occasionally you'll come to like a fork. And down one way of the fork it will generally be collectibles or something like that. They do give you collectibles to pick up and also upgrades for your health and stamina. But there's no real way of telling which way to go. And generally if you go the way that's not the collectible route, which is inevitably a dead end, and you go the other way that progresses the story, a lot of the time you can't actually get back. So you're going to have to remember which fork you took, replay the game and go through if you want to get all the collectibles. That's not great, but it's hardly confined to this game. It's just something I noticed. The game itself, the graphics, the sound, all of the aesthetic stuff is really good, apart from maybe the animations. Could have used a bit more work. The combat animations aren't great, but I mean, they're okay. I think where it really sort of hinders me is when they're having like a talkie scene and they're talking and their faces are really immobile. But it's 17 quid or 3 on Game Pass, so you pay your money and make your choice. If you like samurai stuff, particularly like the Kurosawa movies, stuff like that, you will enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed it for a while because it's a samurai game, yeah. Before I got kind of bored with it. If you want to play a samurai game, Ghost of Tsushima is by far and away the better recommendation. Yes, it's probably it's more expensive and also obviously only a PlayStation exclusive. Hopefully they'll be porting that over like they did with a few other PlayStation exclusive games, because that's really a game that everybody should play. It's just a wonderful game. And this is a nice sort of shot in the arm to sort of flick your samurai bean, so to speak. but it's not anything I would recommend going out your way to get. It's not expensive, so if you're vaguely interested in it, you know, it's worth going. If you got Game Pass, it's a complete no-brainer. If you like samurai stuff, definitely give it a try. But yeah, the combat sort of brought it down for me. The storyline wasn't particularly enthralling to me. It just seemed kind of like bare bones and really cliche for like samurai stuff. I know it was like an ode to the old movies, so you're going to expect to have that stuff. But they didn't really build on it. They just sort of like, here you go, here's more of that. But, you know, I had fun with it for a little while. I definitely appreciate the art style. It's something that, that again, Ghost of Tsushima sort of preempted by giving you the Kurosawa mode in the options for it, so you can play it in black and white, and you can obviously turn the English voice acting off, even though the voice actors in English are absolutely fine. It's not a Resident Evil situation. So yeah, I mean, if you've got to choose between the two, it's Ghost of Tsushima all the way. If you can't get that because of your system, or you know, you just can't afford the extra premium for a AAA, that's fine. This has samurai fighting hijinks, and if you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, you're probably not as spoiled on it as I am. So there you go. It's like I've played Excellence, now I'm playing pretty good. And that gap seems very far, having played it that way around. And not in a good way. But anyway, like I say, it's free on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, check it out. If not, then it's relatively cheap. So maybe give it a go. I wouldn't, like, sell your baby or anything to get hold of it. Save that for, like, Ghost of Tsushima 2 if they ever do that. No, don't sell babies. It's bad, honest. I have no experience in the field. Shutting up now. See you next week. Take it easy, guys.